I'll start over. Should we let the dog in?
No.
Yeah, okay. My name is Mike Mogis. This is Mogis Mondays. I didn't come up with that title or name, but I'm here to kind of show you around our recording studio for Broadheads, another recording company based here in Omaha, Nebraska. And just show you around music. I think it could be fun or totally awkward. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. Anyways, but then I'll take questions. And I honestly, I got online a little bit and I read some of the questions that people have already sent in, and they're just really good. Made me think and remember. Anyways, at the heart of our studio here in the A room is our console. It's a Neve. Vintage Neve from 1974. It's an 8068 model. And I don't know, it's the console that I've always kind of wanted to have, and we were fortunate enough to find one for sale. This one evidently was originally commissioned to George Martin, the guy who produced the Beatles, and commissioned, I think, Air Studios in London or Lyndhurst, one of those two. Anyways, so it's really a beautiful console. It sounds great, and Connor and we've always kind of liked working in the analog world, and so that's what. So I don't know, this is one of the best analog consoles out there. So, and I guess I'll show you around this room a little bit. This is the A control room. The studio itself has two main studios, an A and a B. We're in A. And, I don't know, it's got a lot of different rooms. I really don't know how much time we have, but I'll point out a few of my favorite pieces again, because I think that's kind of fun. So over here, some of my favorite mic pre's are these coil mic pre's. They're made by a company in, Lawrence in Austin, Texas. I just think, ever since I got them, I use them on every record, especially on drums. They sound great on drums and vocals. Oh, speaking of vocals, this is a Fairchild compressor, which is kind of rare. Ever since I've got it, Connor's vocals always go through this. It's a combination of this compressor, 1170. Well, it's a purple MC76, which is a reproduction of a Uri 1176. I hit that first, go into Fairchild after that, and that's kind of Connor's vocal chain. Now it starts with this, but it used to start with the Neves. Gosh.
Are we frozen?
Technically, I don't know. I mean, technically, I'm not frozen.
No, I was just wondering if the live was going okay, if people could see it.
Oh, you're not talking to me. Funny. Did they answer? Hopefully we were
here
frozen.
Here we go. Okay.
No, it's just the way I speak. That phone is real close to my face. It's anyways, which I'm figuring out how to do this. And I don't know. I guess instrument-wise, in Broadhead, currently I'm working on a television series, a score for a television series, and it's sort of part of the tone. It falls in an Americana world, and I'm having my traditional kind of my Broadhead's kind of world kind of is now incorporated into this score, which is kind of good. I don't know what to say, but one of my favorite instruments to play, and I think it's so beautiful and expressive, is the pedal steel guitar. And in Broadhead, I'm kind of known for playing that, and it happens to be here. And I, don't. I guess. Oh yeah, I'll explain my kind of pedal steel chain, and then I almost feel like taking questions because I feel weird just kind of talking about this stuff. But I play a GFI 12-string pedal steel guitar. It is unique because you can use both tunings, E9 and in this case it would be a B6 tuning, in the same instrument, as opposed to having the double-neck pedal steel guitars. It's just a well-built guitar. And so you can come over and look at pedals that I frequently use for Well, pedal steel is pretty simple. I just use, right now, I'm just using a little bit of reverb and a little bit of delay from this Disaster Transport, which actually, this pedal here, the Disaster Transport by Earthquaker Devices, probably on every record I've recorded since I got it. It's just, I use it on so many things, processing vocals, drums, guitars, and, you know, because it's just a cool sound pedal. I'm using a little compression on it too for the pedal steel. But I could talk a little bit about that because I remember hearing some questions about processing and drums and stuff. Like drums, I run so many things, and I pulled up a session I could show you, but running probably I can't remember when I started doing it, but it was probably around the Digital Ash era, and I think it was, I'd flip between like a core. I would always run drums through analog keyboards just to get the filtered effect and kind of distortion. And I really like the Pro 1 by Sequential Circuits. I like the Korg MS-20. And then on that tour, the Bright Eyes, on the Digital Ash tour, we got this to take on tour. Our monitor engineer put the Mogis Special Edition in it. But that's old Simon Ring did that. But now, since I've got it since that tour, I've started using this for a lot of through this thing, and then through these things. And I found like through these pedals, it all kind of, I'll just tap them on. This Rainbow machine, also Earthquaker Devices, I've used that a lot on drums. Just very gently, it just adds like a weird dimension to it. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of messy in here. I didn't clean up because, well, I'm in the process of working on stuff. And do you want to? We'll go out here real quick, and then I feel like we have to answer questions or something. Is there anybody watching?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
hoping there's not. But okay, so this is the A studio, and you know where we perform and all that. I'm usually in there, kind of doing stuff. Like Connor's normally in this little room. That's his chair. That's Connor's chair. He doesn't let us touch it. Always sits there, even when he's in LA. No, I'm kidding. But this is where he'll like sing because he's playing guitar and singing, so it gives good isolation. Plus, I can put something in here and like keep him in there. And then this is where my pedal steel guitar amp is. I have a line run from the control room into here. You can still on. Right now I'm using a Benson amp, which I like. It's a company from Portland. These are all kind of modern amps, but I like them a lot. Divided by 13, analog outfitters, and this is a Benson, mic'd with a Steger. What is it? Something SR1A, I think. So we have our little pockets where we all kind of can be in the studio, so that we can isolate ourselves. I guess that's a thing. Drums out here. Walcott. This is Walcott's world. He's not here right now, unfortunately. We miss him. But, he'll normally have a bunch of synths and keyboards, all kind of like his vibe, he's just. So this is kind of his world. Me there, Nate here, Connor over there. And then our rhythm section and the musicians that we play with kind of, we fill in the other territories. Bass would normally go in here. ISO booth with stuff. This is a water phone. I love this thing. It's scary. I feel like I should. Is there any questions, or should I? Because there's so many good questions from that I saw just when I opened up the thing that I was like, I could talk about any of these, and each one would take me a half an hour to a day to explain. But so we could start. It was one of the first ones that I saw when it came up. It's talking about like drum production, which that's one of my most favorite elements. I kind of want more tricky elements too, in kind of the style of music that we do, because we like kind of mixing it up. And I've always been a fan of layered percussion, and multiple drum sets, or just layers of sound to kind of make it, I don't know, different or unique. And they mentioned One for Me, One for You, and Approximate Sunlight, both of which are on People's Key. And yeah, it's just it's a fair amount of processing. I enjoy the sound of like multiple rhythms from different sources creating one groove, and that's both of them have that aspect. There was another one that was in that question, but it had a similar. I forget the name of the song that was in that question, but it had a similar vibe. Oh, Rabbit Hole. Yeah, that one has another layered approach to the, composition of the drum performance and production style. So it's like, I don't know if this will work because this has been almost a decade since I've pulled up this. I just pulled it up literally seconds before this thing went live because it was frozen. So it's like, okay, yeah.
Sunlight.
So this is what that song looks like. It's like, it started with those are deactivated tracks. It started with this little drum beat, came from a drum machine, which sounds, I don't know. But it's been processed and so forth with some plugins. You see Sans Amp and some other stuff. And then layered with all these other like samples of, I don't know, things. What is this? Hallway Rim and Pro. Oh yeah, and then you just kind of layer in other sounds. I don't know. And then other things coming like here comes a little conga. It's processed through, this stuff is processed through that business over there. I don't know, I just think the mixture of all these different tones creates, you can create your own environment in every song, and just having these, colors and textures, it helps, I hope, create a more unique and kind of, I guess, unique to that song, unique listening experience for that song. Connor's vocal. Okay, well, I can answer some other questions. I don't feel like I did a great job at answering that one, but it's production on those three songs that he or she, who wrote, were we supposed to, oh, yeah. Well, by the way, this is my daughter Stella who's helping me film this. I was a little nervous when we started. I'm still nervous, honestly, and Stella, Mogis, I thank you for your time and help with this. But that was a great question.
Saltwater Sanctuary asked on our post, how do you approach a large mix without it getting too cluttered? And how Bright Eyes always has been great at having large amounts of tracks while keeping everything clear in the mix.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very kind. Saltwater. Yeah. And I don't know. Okay. Gosh, that is a question that would take, if this were a class in a college, it would take in a day. You'd be working on that question. But let me distill that. I think it's, for me, it's it's about prioritizing and focus and knowing what really kind of drives the song, what is helping convey the feeling or message of that song. For Bright Eyes, it's obviously the vocals are a big element to that. The vocals are on top, they're always the center, but we, Nate and myself we just like we like ornamenting and we like experimenting, and I think, and we're both pretty, we're obviously very cognizant and aware of like we need to work around the vocals. The mix is compositional to me in this respect because it's like you're carving out little areas, even though the sound is still there. Like you really do have to automate and EQ and just, I try and only highlight a few things at once. I wasn't always that way. I learned by mistake, like well, okay, there are no mistakes in music, but like that some I've listened back to material that I've mixed. I'm like, man, what is happening? And sometimes it's on by design, the kind of chaos that's in it. But I've learned to prioritize and focus on certain elements and really highlight those, and those elements shift throughout the song, and it does create hopefully something that has a lot of depth to it. There's things that are way back there, there's things way up here, and you could kind of swim around in it, but you never get overwhelmed. I think if you're a listener and if you've got too much going on, it's uncomfortable to listen to. It's like somebody yelling at you or something. I don't know, it's like too much. So you want to draw them in, you want them to listen, so you kind of, I've learned to try and be a little bit more selective. I don't know.
Do you have anything to say about the pedal steel, like as far as technique goes, or?
Man, I never learned how to, the thing that I love about it is that I find that it's a very lyrical, like a very vocal instrument. It feels like it has a voice. It has a very weepy thing, or it can be very powerful and tough. And it's stylistically, I try and kind of channel like a human voice. I'm not really that good of a pedal steel player. I find it to be a very emotive instrument. So I don't play a whole lot of big chords. My particular style is a bit more melodic and or weepy, and because I find it affecting, and I think that's what makes playing an instrument or a song or listening to it's what gives me pleasure, is when I feel some affect of it, and the pedal steel does that for me more than probably any other instrument. That's why I love playing it.
Beb Bramley wants to know whose idea was the bagpipes.
That was Connor Oberst, and actually John Theodore, the drummer. I'm kidding. But Connor had it. He's like, because we actually talked about bagpipes in the past, and he's like, man, like we've talked about this one instrument we've never been able to have, and you know why? It's really hard to work bagpipes into music like that has other instruments, because they're really pitchy and weird, and they can only they're scaled, so you have to be in a certain key. We had to transpose the song a little bit for them to even play that part. So it's difficult, but it was Connor's idea. It was good. It was fun. I mean, I was like, are there any bagpipe players in Omaha? We didn't even know. Put out a couple feelers, and we found three very cool dudes that like came in and were so good. Like, I was stoked. That was a good question. I like this. It's kind of fun. So it was both awkward and fun. Well, I don't know if it was fun. It's definitely awkward. Anything else? Because it's been at least 15 minutes. I feel like I've been here an hour.
Unless you have anything else you'd like to touch on.
No. Sure. I don't. Not really. I feel like people got other things to do.
All right. Are you the real Dr. Jesus? Phoebe wants to know.
No.
And everyone wants to know about the fridge. You got anything to say about that?
What does that mean? I don't know what that means. The fridge.
You asked them.
I asked them about the fridge?
Everyone wants to see it.
My refrigerator.
Yep.
Really? Okay. What does that mean? The studio refrigerator or the one in my house? I can't tell if this is real. Well, I don't know. I can look in it. Right now I've got a bunch of... There's no way. Who's fucking with me? Somebody. Kombucha's pineapple juice. This is an interesting flavor. The blue one. The blue algae one. I don't know, some lettuce. I live here.
All right.
Well, I do really appreciate anybody who actually sat through all of this or cared. We miss you guys. It's a weird time. I'd like to thank my daughter Stella, and be well, be safe, wash your hands after viewing this. I don't know. I'll see you guys later. Cheers. Bye. Is that weird or what? Shit, are we done? Guessing. Okay, hopefully we're